and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nyambura and this is 100 on Books. This is a video where I'm going to be talking about my October book haul. Today is October the 25th, I believe. Yeah. And unless something happens, I don't intend to get any more books. So this is it. I got all of these books on the 14th of October from this lady called Jun'ichirō, who sells books opposite the Mboya Street post office. I'd gone to the post office to post success cards. This is a very Kenyan thing to be saying. I don't know if success cards are a thing where you're from, but they're a big thing here. Like, it's probably the busiest time of the year for the post office when success cards are being sent. Anyway, after I came from the post office, I crossed the road, went to check out some books and found 7 titles, one of which was a gift for my brother, so I'm only going to be showing you 6. The first of those... Oh, and another thing that was happening on that day was that it was my first time to go for the Silent Book Club Nairobi chapter meeting. I had so much fun and I enjoyed also just talking about books with them and showing them the books I'd got and all of that stuff. So anyway, let me show you the books. Let me show you the books. The first of those is Typical American by Gish. And at the back it says, Yifeng has come to America to study to be an engineer and then returned to China. But soon his name is Ralph Chang and he has been joined by his ambitious sister, Teresa. She in turn finds him a perfect wife in a beautiful and docile Helen. Together they set out to make the American dream come true in every way, making money in fast food, buying a bargain house in the suburbs, pursuing excursions into adultery. Theirs is a story of a family coming together and coming apart, and of miracles real and imagined, as Gish puts her unique stamp on the American dream in this astonishingly accomplished debut. I'd never heard of Gish, never heard of this book, but I figured, why not? Sounds interesting, so I picked it up. Hopefully you'll see it in a roundup soon, but if past experience is anything to go by. So yeah, that's Typical American by Gish. Next was The Maids by Jun'ichirō Tanizaki, translated by Michael P. Cronin from the original Japanese. So it says back here, The Maids, Tanizaki's final novel, sparkles like a jewel. Over the years, before, during, and after World War II, many young women work in the pampered, elegant household of the famous author Chikura Reikichi, his wife and her younger sister. Though the family is quite well-to-do, the house is small. The proximity of the maids helps perhaps to explain Reikichi's extremely close and somewhat eroticized observation of all their little ways. In the sensualist patrician Reikichi, Tanizaki offers a richly ironic self-portrait, but he presents as well an exquisitely nuanced chronicle of change and loss. Centuries-old values and manners are vanishing, and here, in the evanescent beauty of all the small gestures and intricacies of private life, we find a whole world passing away. My friend Raul, I'm going to post a link to his Goodreads down below. He writes such good reviews, but my friend Raul really likes Tanizaki and he pointed out that he was intrigued by this choice on my part. So yeah, I thought of him actually when I was picking up The Maids, and I can't wait to read this because I've enjoyed Japanese literature, but this is a book that's not a contemporary book, you know, like it's not like what I've read out of Japan recently. So I'm interested in seeing what writing from, you know, the early to mid 20th century from Japan looks like by reading this. Next, I picked up 2 books by Carol Shields, who I found out about via the Carol Shields Prize, but also these books intrigued me. The first of those was The Stone Diaries, which won the Pulitzer in 1995. Speaking of which, I wonder if Greg over at Supposedly Fan has done a video on this one since he's doing his Pulitzer Prize project. But anyway, and it says back here, From her calamitous birth in Manitoba in 1905 to her journey with her father to Indiana, throughout her years as a wife, mother, and widow, Daisy Goodwill has struggled to understand her place in her own life. Now she listens, she observes, and through sheer force of imagination, she becomes a witness of her own life, her birth, her death, and the troubling misconnection she discovers in between. With irony and humor, Carol Shields weaves together the poignant tale of this 20th century pilgrim in search of herself, and in doing so, she creates a story that is a paradigm of the unsettled decades of our era. This book also won the National Book Critics Circle Award. So just seeing that it had won prizes, and as Greg says, and as I believe, prizes are a great way to discover new books. And again, the Carol Shields Prize, which I think I've mentioned in a previous video, the first winner of it was Fatima Asghar, whose book I have read recently. When we were sisters. So I picked this up and I hope to read it soon because it sounds pretty interesting. Then the other Carol Shields book I picked up was Happenstance, 2 novels in one about a marriage in transition. So there's this side, which is the pink side, which I imagine is the woman's side of the story, and on this side is the blue side, which I imagine is the man's side of the story. And so I'm going to read the description in here. Oh no, it's falling apart. Did not notice this when I was buying it. But anyway, these 2 unique companion novels tell the stories of Jack and Brenda Bowman during a rare weekend apart in their many years of marriage. Jack is at home coping with domestic crisis and 2 uncouth adolescents while immobilized by self-doubt and questioning his worth as a historian. Brenda, traveling alone for the first time, is in a strange city, grappling with an array of emotions and toying with the idea of an affair. Intimate, insightful, and never sentimental, Happenstance is a profound portrait of a marriage and of those differences between the sexes that bring life and a sense of isolation into the most loving relationships. So that's Happenstance, 2 novels in one about a marriage in transition. Next, I picked up H is for Hawk by Helen Macdonald, which this sticker says is one of the 10 best books of the New York Times Book Review in 2015. I picked this up because I've seen people praising it on BookTube, especially a book Olive. I'm going to post a link to a video where she talks about how it's one of her favorite books. She has mentioned it in more than one video and I watch her regularly. So, and at the back it says, the instant New York Times bestseller and award-winning sensation, Helen Macdonald's story of adopting and raising one of nature's most vicious predators has soared into the hearts of millions of readers worldwide. Fierce and feral, her goshawk Mabel's temperament mirrors Helen's own state of grief after her father's death, and together raptor and human discover the pain and beauty of being alive, as described by people. H is for Hawk is a gender-defying debut from a unique and transcendent new voice in literature. And that's H for Hawk by Helen Macdonald. Lastly, I picked up Angels in America, whose subtitle I believe is A Gay Fantasia on National Themes, with 2 parts, Millennium Approaches and Perestroika by Tony Kushner. This won the Pulitzer Prize, and also it turns out there's an HBO film. I found out about Angels in America from Greg over at Supposedly Fun. He's mentioned it in the past, and as someone who hopes to make a project out of reading Pulitzer Prize winning plays, this was a great find on the streets of Nairobi, so I picked it up. Anyway, let's read the description. If we can find one. If we can find one. There's a lot of praise, but where is the description, friends? Let's read something at the back. Angels in America is the finest drama of our time, speaking to us of an entire era of life and death as no other play within memory. In its sweep and imagination, it defines the collapse of a moral universe during the Reagan years in an unforgettable way, transcending its specific time in the richness of its portrait of an America lost, perhaps to be regained. Mr. Kushner's epic sense of loss and betrayal and long for saving grace amounts to a fantastic journey of the heart and mind, crying out against the disintegration of tolerance and cities and certain eternal dreams. It's a pretty funny play too, how we still need it. It ranks as nothing less than one of the greatest plays of the 20th century, and this is praise from John Hilpan at the New York Observer. So this play was first put up in 1992. Yeah, 1992. So that's over 30 years ago, and I'm curious to see what it's like. So that's all the books I got in October. There's 6 books. If I get any books this weekend or sometime before the month ends, I'll just roll them into the November book haul and mention that I got them in October. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and all the good things, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.